Eat the hot dog. Don't be the hot dog. It's harmless phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Thoreau Smiley, but you can call me the man. I am joined this week by...
The front desk said there was a little kid you want to hire. His name is Josh Cece.
I'm Brian Lesh, and stick this in your ear.
Please welcome Mr. Warm and Fuzzy himself. It's Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This week we are watching Steel.
How would you like to help me deal the next generation of superweapons to the world?
The weapons of tomorrow.
I've already made quite a few of these dandy little toys. Do you really want to be the only ones without my kind of firepower?
Terrorizing our cities today.
Officers down. We got a big problem here.
Now, to protect those who can't fight back.
Gang still messing with him?
Worse than ever.
One man must stand up for the people.
Or maybe the police aren't enough. Maybe we need a new kind of firepower for ourselves.
Gotcha, bro.
What exactly am I supposed to be doing here?
We make our own kind of weapons to take out the ones in the streets. To stop an enemy without hurting them.
And become a new breed of hero.
It might get a little dangerous.
I laugh at danger.
I boogie around danger like a soul-trained dancer.
With a will of iron, a heart of gold, and a body of steel.
It's hammer time.
What a magnetic personality.
Well, you gotta admit, the guy's got style.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Where'd he go?
The Batcave?
Steel.
Man, I could be Robin.
You want to know what you can do to help?
What? Anything.
Don't tell Grandma.
Steel. It was released August 15th, 1997, 5 days before I turned 21.
Yeah, so it was not on your
Just
list.
in time.
Yeah.
So you want to go like party? You want to go to a bar on your 21st? Well, I don't know. Steel might still be out.
Spoiler alert, I don't think it was.
No, probably not.
Because with the running time of 97 minutes and a budget of $16 million, it took in $1.7 million.
Oh,
Box office poison.
that hurts my feelings, man. That's poor Shaq.
I think it was around it must have been in theaters for a little while because they said that it took in its entire run as much as Batman and Robin took in its first weekend.
Shit.
I mean, my sources said 1.7 million total in theaters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of money.
Yeah, I mean,
that sucks.
So that's about how much Batman and Robin, or less than how much Batman and Robin took in its first weekend.
Oh, no. Batman and
Right.
Robin in their first weekend took in like 65 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Okay.
Ugh.
That was a factoid I read.
Maybe that, I don't know. Maybe they're counting worldwide.
I don't know.
I mean, Shaq was pretty popular. I mean, basketball is pretty popular in Europe and China, so it may have had a pretty decent international run. This is just domestic money we're talking.
Right. All I'm trying to say is that it was probably in theaters for more than a week.
Yeah. Yes.
Just to try to make some money.
Yeah. Yes, to try.
Nickel and dime the audience.
Yeah, what he's trying to say, Thoreau, is you pushed out. You went and celebrated your 21st somewhere else. You probably could have gone.
I could have been watching Steel.
Shaq could have even been at the theater. I mean, they were probably doing anything to keep this movie like going.
Yeah.
Shaq was buying tickets himself and handing them out on street corners.
Just sitting in front of people.
It's not unheard of.
So that brings us to our box office top 10 of the week.
How come it paid $1 million? Like, really hardcore fundraisers make that.
Right.
How are you gonna? Okay, I'll go first as usual.
Yeah. So spoiler alert, guys.
Yeah.
If you'd like to extend your guesses outside of the top 10, that wouldn't be crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it opened at 16.
Ooh. 13.
Al.
12.
12.
Okay.
Ba-da-ba-da.
So at number 17, we have The Lost World Jurassic Park.
Okay.
What the?
Which has been open several months at this point.
Of course. Yeah.
At number 16, we have Steel. Josh took it.
That's right.
And,
Wow, Josh.
According to Box Office Mojo, its first week it took 1.3 million, which means after its first week, it only took in an additional 300,000 its entire run in the U.S. domestic.
That's insane. Wow.
It was beaten by My Best Friend's Wedding. These are
right. I feel like every list you ever list has that
My
on
Best
it.
Friend's Wedding. It's been playing for like 4 or 5 months now.
All right.
So okay, now these are all movies that didn't open this week, by the way, guys. So beaten by My Best Friend's Wedding, Good Burger, How to Be a Player.
Hey, Shaq is in Good Burger.
Oh yeah, he plays himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm still winning.
Nothing to Lose. At number 11, we have Contact. And now, finally, our top 10. At number 10, we have Air Bud. Still hanging in there.
Still.
At number 9, Face Off is still hanging in there.
Yeah.
At number 8, Picture Perfect. Number 7, Men in Black. At number 6, Spawn is still in there.
And this was 2 weeks after Spawn came out, correct?
Yeah. 2 weeks later.
I enjoyed this more than Spawn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. At number 5, we've got George of the Jungle. And then opening this week at number 4, Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Wow.
At number 3, still stomping in my Air Force Ones. At number 2, Conspiracy Theory. Mel Gibson's crazy. Who could have seen it coming?
Nobody believed him.
Right. And our number 1 movie of the week. Any guesses? Anybody? This is no one's going to guess it. Copland.
Oh.
Of course, Copland.
Copland. I know. I thought it was about an amusement park. It isn't.
You can ride the cops.
I would not.
Careful, they shoot.
Yeah, they just, yeah, exactly.
So yes, that's our box office top 17 of the week.
Terrible. Gross. It made so little money.
Yeah, Steel was not a profitable film.
And I'm not walking out saying like, "Oh my God, that should win millions and millions." But it was. I'm getting the same feelings when I heard that Supergirl got 11%. Where it's like, I agree with you. It's not a good movie. That really feels like a kick to the shins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, it makes me feel better though because Shaq probably got paid in advance.
Oh sure.
Yeah, probably.
I bet he had some points on the back end though.
Yeah, it was probably a disappointment in that sense, but I'm sure he got paid differently because he's you know.
Yeah, I'm sure he's wiping
not really
his
an actor at that point.
He's wiping his tears with dollar bills.
Yeah, exactly. He'll walk back to the league with a bag of money.
So this
because he's a giant.
Yeah.
Giants love little hordes of treasure.
He sits on his piles of gold coins.
As if you would not.
If I was that big, I certainly would.
Just sit on coins.
If you had that many coins.
You would just sit on them?
Not if you're that big. All right. So Space Jam had been a hit, so he tried to make his own kind of.
Well, Shazam.
They were trying to sell.
But we'll get to that.
I thought Shazam was after. Okay, cool.
No, Shazam. Yeah, no, Shazam's. Well, we'll get to that. But okay, Steel, the character, Al.
Yeah.
Well, you tell us about this character, this crazy character known as Steel.
He's a real character.
Yes, he's a real character from DC Comics, created by Louise Simonson and John Bogdanove, however you say that. His first appearance was in The Adventures of Superman number 500 in June of 1993.
I remember the character. I can picture him.
Yeah, he was Steel, a.k.a. Dr. John Henry Irons, the Man of Steel, also known as. So a little bit of background before we get to, I guess, his first appearance. He was a former weapons engineer for Ameritech. Realizing the massive destructive power of his inventions, Irons faked his own death to escape Ameritech's steely grasp. He moved to Metropolis and became a construction worker.
I did that same thing when I quit working at Baggins.
Faked your own death?
Yeah, to escape their steely grasp.
You have to fake your own death. Baggins.
Where are you going, son? I'm going to Metropolis, Ma, to be a construction worker. And he brings his fake resumes like Clark Kent did. He's like, I designed and built the Smallville Tower.
No, he was just standing on the corner waiting for a job.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be
outside of the Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly. The Giant. They always pick the Giant.
I don't believe the character was as tall and imposing as Shaquille O'Neal in this movie.
Well, okay. I will call Shaquille O'Neal is certainly a humongous man, but but I don't know if I'd ever describe him as imposing. He's just so friendly looking.
Gentle as fuck. Yeah,
right? He wants to pet kitties.
Okay, so back in the comics, John Henry Irons. Yes, I've seen the picture.
You look at it. Look at his face.
Falling to an almost certain death from a high-rise construction project, Irons was saved by Superman. Superman encouraged him to live a life worth saving. All right. When Superman was seemingly killed by the alien creature Doomsday, Iron took it upon himself to carry Superman's torch, creating an advanced exoskeleton armor that mimicked the powers of the fallen hero. He also discovered that the gangs of Metropolis were waging war with upgraded versions of the weapons he himself had created. The upgraded versions were called the BG-80 Toastmasters.
Ooh.
They were not staying alive.
They would kill you and then give a speech.
Right. And cook a bagel perfectly and not let it get stuck down in the thing.
Originally, he wore the S emblem on his chest, and he was dubbed the Man of Steel by a populace wondering if he wasn't truly a new manifestation of Superman. When Superman inevitably returned to life, Irons became a fast ally and rechristened his hero identity as simply Steel. The character would go on to have his own comic series beginning 1994. Returning to his hometown of Washington, D.C.
He's a hometown boy.
Irons' family would be attacked by his former employers at Ameritech because they had not forgotten about him.
Your 401k didn't roll over?
Irons reforged his armor, this time without the S emblem, upgraded a little bit, and began his crusade against Ameritech and the gangs armed with his weaponry. He has no metahuman powers that we know of.
Just a winning smile.
Surprise, surprise, a genius-level intellect.
Ooh.
There's
a lot of those motherfuckers walking around in the DC universe.
I'm starting a Harmless Phosphorescence bingo, and that one's going on the board.
Oh, yeah.
So his exoskeletal armor granted him super strength and the ability to fly. He had a large metallic smart hammer with an onboard computer guidance system.
It was Bluetooth.
I just got the Apple Air Hammer.
The Air Hammer.
That hammer is extra.
It had a peculiar trait to it that it would hit harder the farther it was thrown.
I was going to say, it would also hit, strangely, it would hit harder the harder you hit someone with it.
Right. Yeah, that's what Al said. Throwing. No, but it gained speed. So it's like Mjolnir.
Yeah, he would throw it a bit like Thor would throw Mjolnir. He had other cybernetic armaments, including rivet guns and maybe lasers.
Maybe lasers?
Yeah.
If they shoot you, you've got to get back to him as to whether or not you're going to meet him. It's a maybe laser.
So they were... I said maybe lasers because it was in the animated series, Superman animated series, where he didn't have the rivet guns, but he instead had the lasers.
Yeah.
So that may or may not be canon.
I knew that's what you meant. Did he have lasers in this at any point?
Just in his hammer.
Yeah. There's a big question. What were they actually shooting a lot of the time? Little balls of fire, laser bursts, like...
Some were sonic. You could tell it was like a sound, a vibration.
Yeah, there was the sound wave ones, but then the other ones that were just like fire, but also maybe lasers.
Some maybe lasers.
Oh my God.
Maybe lasers.
I have a list of everything that the hammer did in the movie, but we can save that for later unless you want to go over it now.
A little dessert.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. How about when we get the hammer?
Okay.
We'll talk.
Yeah, because
it does a lot.
It does a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in animation, TV animation, Superman, the animated series, he was voiced by Michael Dorn.
Yes.
Nice.
In Justice League Unlimited, he was voiced by Phil Lamar.
Ooh, also nice.
Yes.
And he was in Justice League Outsiders, Zeno Robinson there. Not sure who he is. Voiced in various DC animated movies by Carrie Payton, who was probably better known as Cyborg from the Teen Titans.
Oh, okay.
Nice. And Cress Williams, who is now playing Black Lightning on the CW show.
Look at that. What a pedigree.
This movie, that's sort of all I have for the comics. This movie was originally designed to be a spin-off of a new Superman film using the Death of Superman storyline.
Oh.
Is that... Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Al. I was just
that movie was never made.
Was that the Nicolas Cage, Tim Burton one?
I don't have the details on that.
The timing would be right.
Yeah.
I think so.
Have any of you guys ever seen the pictures of Nick Cage in the Superman outfit?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Incredible.
Woo!
Yeah. Man, would have been the greatest film ever made, possibly. Or the worst.
Yeah, that would have been
the worst.
Insane.
Yeah.
But Tim Burton, Nick Cage, Superman. Yeah. Well, thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
Yes. So that brings us to the cast and crew. This movie was written and directed by Kenneth Johnson. However, it was brought to him by Quincy Jones, who wanted to make a superhero film that was about a positive black role model. So I mean, and he was.
Yeah, there's almost actually all around. There's almost no profanity in it. There is some violence in the gang members BS, but yeah, it was a very family-friendly movie.
I believe there is one shit in it.
Yeah.
And there's a couple. Steele says ass a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yes, ass.
Yeah. Very Bart Simpson of him. Yeah, very Bart Simpson of him. But okay, so they brought Quincy Jones and his longtime collaborator, whose name I didn't make a note of because I'm an asshole, brought this to Kenneth Johnson to write and direct.
Saltzman?
That sounds right. I actually might have this down here. Anyways, so who is best known?
He's not listening.
What did you say, Al?
I haven't said anything since I said David Saltzman.
David Saltzman. Okay,
fine. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Who is Okay, so they brought this to Kenneth Johnson, who is the best known as the creator of V, the TV movies and show. He also show ran The Bionic Woman and The Incredible Hulk series from 77 to 82, and the TV adaptation of Alien Nation. So he's he's really big on TV sci-fi stuff.
But those are good ones.
Yeah.
I liked most of those. Yeah. Wow.
His biggest
and this movie featured the two lead actors from the Alien Nation TV show.
Oh, did it? Who were they?
Shaq and
the Shaq, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
So Eric Pierpoint, I believe, was the major who was at the court martial.
Oh, okay.
The military hearing.
Yeah.
And then Gary Graham, he was the detective at the police station. That was trying to at the ID line.
Gotcha.
Yep. Interesting.
Kenneth Johnson's biggest film credit, other than this, is directing Short Circuit 2.
Dose.
Which is that movie is insane.
Yeah.
I remember that movie actually from the kid. We used to watch it all the time.
Yeah, same. The first one was still bad, but better.
yeah. The second one is just an hour and a half of brown face and robots.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. Oh, that's right. The scientist. Holy shit.
Parker Stevens as an Indian.
Yeah. It's in brown face the entire movie.
Yeah,
that's right.
Definitely a white
doing an Apu style accent.
Holy shit. Yeah. Man. We should do that movie.
Ooh.
Moving on. Anyways, sorry, I shouldn't have said it.
So this movie starred Shaquille O'Neal, an Irish boy.
Yes. He's a reverse leprechaun. He is so large.
He's huge.
Off air, we were saying we think he's probably 400 pounds or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what is he 7 foot? What?
I think 7'6".
So like
that's what they said in the movie.
Yeah.
There was also
I thought I read 7'1". Because there was Shaq did all of his own stunts.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get a stunt man for that?
Exactly. They could not find a stuntman that was 7'1" or however tall he was. But
they just insert Andre the Giant in.
7'1".
He's suddenly white.
3. Sorry, I just had to check.
7'1", and what you broke up there, Brian?
325.
Wow.
Oh.
He's a thin 7'1".
Svelte. Yeah.
Life.
So big. I was going to say, it was like
man.
1,000 years from now when somebody uncovers Shaq's femur. Like, this was a gigantic race of people.
Yeah. Like, we believe a meteor is what killed him
Shaq
off.
into space.
Yeah, maybe.
The Viking funeral.
Just send him out there.
An Irish space funeral.
I would love to go to that.
Bagpipes.
Way so depressing. That sounds fun.
There's food in the Genesis cave. So Shaq. Sorry, space funeral. Shaq. First role on film was in the 1994 Blue Chips. He played.
It's a really good movie.
It is.
Actually.
It is a good movie.
It's a good movie anyways, but if you like sports movies, it's a great movie.
Yeah. Maybe someday in the far future, we'll run out of superhero movies and like have to do like mini series. Like basketball movies would be really fun to do.
Yeah, or expand it slightly. We've talked about Any Given Sunday on here.
Oh, yeah. Sports.
I really enjoy that movie.
Yeah.
But, that's a good idea.
Yeah, sports movies are fun. He played Neon Boudreaux in Blue Chips.
Yeah, he's from Louisiana.
Yeah. In 1996, he starred in Kazam as Kazam. It is.
And he birthed the Mandela effect.
Yes, he did. He is not Shaquille. Okay, so I want to state for the record, Shaquille O'Neal is not Sinbad, in case anyone thought he was.
Who is getting them confused?
Well, no, haven't you heard of that whole...
the movie,
Brian,
the Mandela effect thing.
Do you remember ever seeing or hearing about a movie with Shaq called Shazam? Like, is that anywhere in your memory?
Yeah, of course. But it's not a real thing.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
That's what I remembered.
Yeah.
It hurts my brain.
But you can see the poster, like Sinbad starring as Shazam the genie.
I worked in a video store. I could literally see the two covers. Yeah.
Crazy. That's the one that gets me.
Yeah. As we said, he was also in Good Burger as himself. He starred in He Got Game as himself. He was in The Wash, Freddy Got Fingered, A Scary Movie 4, The House Bunny, Jack and Jill, Grown Ups 2, The Smurfs 2, The Lego Movie, and his most recent one is Blended. He played Doug.
Doug. Yeah, he's definitely a Doug.
Yeah.
Did he play Giant Smurf in the
Smurfs too? He played Smooth Smurf.
But in all fairness, Smooth Smurf is like 4 inches, 5 inches tall.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Bigger than most. He was also on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh,
it was a very funny episode.
Yeah. In Grown Ups 2, he played Officer Fluzzu. No.
Right on. Yeah, there's another connection. I almost forgot about it. He is in the Tiger King.
Oh, wow.
Documentary that we had been talking about before.
As a tiger?
As Shaq buying tigers.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Shaq.
For his San Simeon type estate. No, I don't know.
Tigers, plural?
Yes. I believe he said 2. But he's going around like any of us would, like a rescue shelter or something. Petting them, looking at them.
Wow.
So, yeah, he was in it.
Oh, weird. He also played a little bit of basketball.
Yep. That's right.
If anyone's interested, he played for the Orlando Magic, the LA Lakers, Miami Heat, the Suns, the Cavaliers, and the Celtics. He was a 4-time...
And the Dave Clark 5.
Yeah.
He played with a lot.
Yeah.
Brubeck.
He was a 4-time NBA champion, 3-time NBA Finals MVP, and the NBA Most Valuable Player in 2000, 15-time NBA All-Star, 3-time NBA All-Star MVP. He was NBA Rookie of the Year. He was the two-time NBA scoring champion. His jersey was retired by 2 different teams. He was he was on the Dream Team, the 96 Dream Team. And he has a total of 28,596 all-time NBA points. So,
and he has a hard time with the free throws.
Yeah.
And standing upright sometimes. He tends to fall over quite a bit.
Shaq running is not.
Yes. Oh, yes. We'll talk about that in the stunts. Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this movie starred some non-Shaq people.
No, wait a second. Shaq's running looks exactly like, do you guys remember in Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he wakes up in the dinosaur in El Cajon and like the chick's boyfriend is coming?
Oh,
the guy with the overalls and the red shirt?
Yeah. Yes.
Chase Pee-wee? No. Sorry, think about it.
Yeah. Okay, so this also starred Annabeth Gish as Susan Sparks. Susan Sparky Sparks. She's
right.
A quick Sparks. Note. Susan Sparks, the character, it was said to be based on the Oracle version of Barbara Gordon.
Oh, well, yeah.
All right. Interesting.
I can see that.
With all the being confined to a wheelchair, the technical wizardry.
Yeah. Huh.
The observing our hero from the distance.
Yeah.
Having a sweet tooth.
She played. She was in Shag, Hiding Out, Mystic Pizza, SLC Punk, which is an incredible movie. The Last Supper, Double Jeopardy, and on TV she played Agent Monica Reyes on The X-Files.
Yep.
She was Elizabeth Bartlett Weston on The West Wing. Diane Gould on *Halt and Catch Fire*. And she has most recently been on *The Haunting of Hill House* on Netflix. She's one of the siblings.
Cool. Gotcha.
This also starred Judd Nelson as Nathaniel Burke.
Wow.
Don't you forget about me, Judd.
Is this his character from Breakfast Club?
Bender? John Bender?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The inevitable
it was a banner year in the Jed Bender household that Christmas.
I joined the military.
Yes.
Weapons.
You're right. To avoid jail, he went into the military, and this is how he ended up. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm totally. Let's
same
see.
universe. We just put him in the same universe.
So he got his start in Rock and Roll Hotel in 1983. He followed that up with Making the Grade in 1984, and 1985, The Breakfast Club. His role as John Bender won him the MTV Movie Silver Bucket of Excellence Award.
Prestigious.
I'm sorry.
We all remember the speech he gave.
Yeah.
For his bucket.
His silver bucket of excellence.
I think it's just popcorn. They spray paint silver.
I'm pretty sure. He was in St. Elmo's Fire as Alec Newberry. Fandango. You guys remember Fandango?
No.
Place where you buy movie tickets?
Oh my God. That was
or the dance?
I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I don't know how it holds up, but I watched it repeatedly. Kevin Costner. Oh God, I don't know who else was in it, but they're trying to get a guy. I'm pretty sure Daniel Stern. They're trying to get a guy to his wedding cross country in the early 60s, and wacky adventures ensue. It's a road movie.
Oh. Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Let's see. He was in the Transformers movie, the 1986 Transformers movie, as Rodimus Prime.
Rodimus.
Yeah, Rodimus Prime, who took over after Optimus Prime died. I'm sure we all remember that.
That sounds like a fake name, like Naughtius Maximus.
It does.
Big Rodimus Prime.
That was a dark day for our country, though. When Optimus died.
In the Twin Towers.
Jesus.
Let's see. He was in From the Hip. Oh, Jesus. In 1990, he was in Hiroshima Out of the Ashes. He starred in... Yeesh. He starred in New Jack City. God, a bunch of other crap. Airheads. Was pretty good. Wasn't he the... Was he the bad guy in Airheads, or
the agent?
Yeah, okay,
he's
that's right.
Like a shitty agent.
That's right.
Yeah, where they go down to the record radio station.
Yeah, exactly. Brendan Fraser, Adam Sandler, and Steve Buscemi.
The Lone Rangers.
There are 3 of you.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of shit, man.
Yeah. We've got let's see. Yeah. Oh, and he was on Suddenly Susan for 3 years.
Oh yeah. How can we
forget Suddenly Susan? So I turn around and suddenly Susan.
I turned around. It's exactly what I had come. Yeah.
We got suddenly. We've got Richard Roundtree as Uncle Joe. Richard Roundtree, best known for his role in Seven and Shaft, which he most recently played Shaft in 2019.
Yeah, 3 Shafts.
Yeah. Movie. 3 Shafts?
A multi-generational Shaft.
Yes, indeed. He was also in Maniac Cop, Boat Trip, and Corky Romano. Irma P. Hall as Grandma Odessa. Best known for playing matriarchal figures in A Family Thing, Lady Killers, Soul Food, in which she portrayed Big Mama Joe.
Lady Killers. I didn't know that was the same woman. That's cool.
Yeah. She was also in Backdraft, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and Collateral.
Wow.
I love her. I love her Lady Killers when she's complaining to the sheriff, and it's just never mind. I left my wallet in El Segundo. She's very upset that she can hear this loud rap music. That's the one that gets it. Yeah.
We have Ray J as a little baby Ray J as Martin. The Brandy's little brother. Snoop Dogg's cousin.
Yeah.
He was in the Sinbad show from 93 to 94. Sinbad connection. He had a number of medium-sized hit songs, both on his own and with his sister Brandy. He was in The Enemy Within in 1994. Mars Attacks in 96. He was in Aftershock Earthquake in New York in 99. Christmas at Water's Edge. Sharknado. He was in Sharknado 3, and he was in Kim Kardashian in 2007.
Yep, he's famous for that.
For which, that's where I first became aware of Ray J. Yeah, that's probably his best known work at this point.
But it's what made Kim famous as well.
Oh yeah, that's what got them the show. They really.
Yep.
They have
the empire.
They have a lot to thank Ray J for.
If that dude wasn't horny that night, we would all be better off.
Yes, we would. Yeah, we've got Hill Harper as Slats, who's best known for his roles in CSI New York, Limitless, and The Good Doctor. if he's known for anything. Kevin Graveau as Singer. He was in The Naked Gun 33 1/3. And Speed, Bomb Squad, and SWAT.
I've got a little bit of interesting information on this guy.
Yeah.
Because he came to my attention because of his voice was so distinctive.
Oh, yeah.
So he has done a lot of voice work, including Solomon Grundy on the Batman.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
We've seen him actually before in Batman Forever. He was one of Harvey's thugs.
Oh.
And he was also one of the henchmen in The Mask.
Wow.
Henchman number 7. I had to go to the next page. Yeah. Wow. He was also in Alien Nation, which is probably how he got this job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Al, have you ever seen the documentary I Know That Voice?
No, I haven't.
You should look it up. Since you have such a keen ear for voice acting.
Right on.
You'll probably enjoy it. Yeah.
I'll go check it out right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Peace, guys.
I'm going to take a nap.
But before he got into acting, he got his degree in microbiology.
Oh, wow.
And then he had started the master's program in genetic engineering. And while he was in college, he got into screenwriting and he caught the film bug.
It's called COVID-19, Al.
He's like, I tried to come up with a cure. It's no use.
He created the concept for Underworld, and he wrote the original screenplay.
What?
Yeah. He still gets character credits for like all the Underworld everything.
Wow, because I see he was in Underworld, but I didn't realize that he created it.
Yeah.
Whoa. He was also in The Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas, Planet of the Apes, Men in Black 2, and in 2005, something called Dirty Daddy.
No.
And in 2014, I, Frankenstein.
Oh.
Wow.
You, Jane.
Charles Napier as Colonel David. Tucker McElroy from the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
He was in Austin Powers, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, Married to the Mob, Silence of the Lambs, Manchurian Candidate.
So many.
Yeah, he's always army guy or cop guy.
Yeah, hard ass, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, great character actor.
Yeah, he is. I didn't look up much about them, but we got Carrie Keene as Senator Nolan, Tom Barry as Sergeant Marcus, and Rutanya Alda as Mrs. Hunt.
Okay.
This started, yes, it was Quincy Jones and David Salzman who came up with the idea of doing this movie. They described him as blue-collar Batman.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the director took a copy of the script to South Central LA and spent a day with a group of kids to ensure that the slang would be more believable.
Yeah, it's like when Star Trek consults with physicists and stuff.
Right.
Instead, it's like, would you say this? What about wing-a-ding-ding? Is that, I heard that before. Is that a thing?
Woozle wuzzle.
Right. Yeah.
So,
zippity-doo-dah, Dave.
This has 12% on Rotten Tomatoes. Shaquille O'Neal earned a Razzie nomination, but he lost out to Kevin Costner, who won for The Postman.
Oh.
Wow.
I bet Shaq would have appreciated it more.
Yeah, I bet Shaq would have actually collected it. Kevin Costner, I would bet you money, did not show up.
He was probably salty about it, too.
Yeah. He sent someone on his behalf.
Native American.
A mailman. Oh, man.
Mailbag. Who refused it on his behalf?
An actual postal worker.
Right. Oh, you don't like the postman?
Let's see. This was not reviewed by Siskel and Ebert. Kenneth Johnson from the New York Times wrote, Hollywood alchemists, persisting in their efforts to transmute the body and soul of a 7-foot, 1-inch, 300-pound professional basketball player into box office gold, have now encased Shaquille O'Neal in the costume of a comic book hero and pledged him into a tepid vat of cinematic sludge. So, it was not well received. It did not do well. This is not a popular movie.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. It was more fun than quite a few of the last ones we've watched.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
it was cheesy in a wholesome way, whereas some of the more recent ones have been cheesy in a like really groany, or like Spawn was cheesy in like a really edgy late 90s kind of way.
Right, and it could be just Shaquille O'Neal himself. Like I said, I do enjoy him. I think he has charisma.
No, he does.
But you're right. The story is pretty. Whew.
I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is very charming, while at the same time being a terrible actor.
Yeah, very bad. Very bad.
I don't know. I've much else to say about the production at this point. You guys want to jump into the movie?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Commence the firing test.
This is Steel. We open on a weapons desk for the Army. A senator's observing. We meet John Irons, Sparky, and Burke. John
Irons and Sparky.
Yep. John Irons and Sparky are happy. They do an E.T. finger thing.
Yeah.
All the time.
And conducting electricity.
For some reason.
That's exactly what I wrote down in my notes. Well, I said weird, flirty E.T. finger thing.
Sounds like something you could request online from a lady.
That's what. Never mind.
I didn't think about it until halfway through this movie. That I should have been counting how many times they did that, because it was a lot.
Oh, it was a lot. I didn't have a serious issue with that. I thought it was kind of cute. They did it up.
Well, but I mean, it's a little awkward because they have to line up the fingers and it's kind of slow. Like, we got to get them fingers to meet.
There's a lot of like creation moments in there. Of just
17 takes before they actually
keep missing fingers. And there was that period where like Sparky was like not on board, where like he kept putting his finger out to like get the finger thing, and she'd like not do it.
That finger off. Get it out of my face.
Okay, so John and Sparky are happy with how it's gone. Burke secretly assures the senator that the weapons can be made much more deadly.
And I love Shaq in his technical scientific jargon. He's like, check the M curve.
Yeah.
Lines like that.
What about the capacitor? He said that capacitor.
Yeah. Yes.
I really like this delivery.
Moving the capacitor to the start really helped fix. Yeah, that's his line. Moving the capacitor to the start really helped fix the balance.
That was the line, but the way he pronounced capacitor was capacitor.
He plays this super genius like a dolt. I thought it was really fucking cute. I don't know. It's Shaq being Shaq.
It is.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. In that moment, Judd Nelson goes, "Well, and whose idea was that?" And the whole movie was cast. It's just like, that's the movie. Right. That shit's funny.
It is.
Certainly is.
So Burke turns up the level on a sonic cannon to impress the senator.
Who you just have to ask someone what their security clearance is.
Right? And, like,
why do people even have badges?
Oh, it's high. It's high.
It's like 4?
It's 4.
4? Is that right? 4?
Oh, no, that's what she says. But, if anybody ever asks you what your security clearance is, just say it's high. It's up there. Yeah. It's up there.
It's good.
Levels you don't know about. Now give me a sandwich.
Well, I love when she says 4. He looks at her like, that, okay, sure. I totally know what a security clearance is.
That's the highest or possibly lowest. I'm not aware of the scale.
He's like, I got to come clean with you. I don't actually know what a security clearance is.
This is my first day here.
Just work here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't that like how low you can drop the limbo bar?
To 4. Yeah. So, he turns it up all the way, and it results in an accident that causes a wall to collapse on the group. Senator is killed, and Sparky...
Right Charles Napier walks into frame a little bit before the explosion. He's like, they gave us this village to use this. Yeah. Who gave that village?
The villagers that we kicked out gave us this village.
That's true.
I mean, they left it. Possession's 9/10 of the law.
Yeah, they left it.
So
the senator, and she's looking all like sultry and sexy, like, yeah, baby, fucking blow up that wall.
She's like, I'm very impressed by the way you blow up walls with sound. I'm
Pete Townsend.
Yeah, Phil Spector just turns me on. So yeah, would sound bounce like that, Al, science man?
Sure. It echoed back.
We have sonic cannons.
No, we do now. Yeah, they do, and those actually exist now, but they don't blow buildings down.
They shoot hedgehogs. It's science.
They're t-shirt cannons.
Oh, Maud.
I saw it as the sound wave echoing back.
Yeah, I guess whatever. I'm not going to quibble with that of all things, I guess.
So yeah, would you say it's exaggerated but possible?
Sure.
All right.
Exaggerated but possible. That's the Al Weber seal of approval.
Reading back the notes.
That's the title of my autobiography.
Exaggerated but possible.
That would be hilarious if you worked Alaric into the title of
the Al Weber, the Al Weber seal of approval, exaggerated but possible, the Brian Lesh story.
Brian Lesh story.
We're huge with confused people. They're buying it up like crazy.
They don't know what they're getting. Irons.
We don't know what we're writing. It's a match made in heaven.
Irons testifies against Burke, who's discharged from the military. He is none too pleased with that outcome. The general.
How was he just discharged? He killed a senator.
Yeah, no, he should be in jail.
Yeah. And you just said the general. Shaq was in some general commercials. The general.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and I think he's actually
some time.
I think he's a colonel. I kept going back and forth between general and colonel because I couldn't remember which one he was.
Yeah, we had just talked about the general.
Yeah.
The insurance.
Yeah, the general who was the who also played the Demon Malboa. So the colonel wants to continue the research on the super weapons, but Iron says, "Homie, don't play that," and he resigns.
Yeah, he does like a Tony Stark thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Iron Man parallels in this first act.
This is basically Iron Man in the hood.
Yeah, kind of cool.
I love the way Judd Nelson tried to Mad Dog Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
He's like half his size. He's just staring.
Yeah, his neck craned up.
Yeah. There were a lot of characters just trying to mad dog this giant man throughout the movie.
I feel like they didn't pay enough attention to how huge he was, like as characters in the film. Like I feel like people should have been like, this dude is huge.
Yeah, he had to duck under every eave to get into a room.
Yeah.
Which he does in real life, but yeah. He can't walk right into a room.
Yeah. No, yeah, you can tell that that's just how he goes into rooms.
But you better take attention to play to his... Okay.
So, Shaq goes to visit Sparks in the hospital and in a very important scene makes sure that the audience knows that he gives her his contact info. And tells her he's going home. And then at this point he busts a move back to LA.
Real quick, back to the hospital. So she says, I'll come visit you as soon as I'm back on my feet. And then the camera cuts to the nurse who looks at the camera and just gives this sad head shake. Just no.
She's never walking ever again.
So shouldn't they have told her that at some point prior to Shaq coming to visit?
No, they're keeping it a secret.
Yeah. Just tell them the giant.
She doesn't have security clearance for that.
You don't have clearance to get your own diagnosis.
Be like, but
that's really funny.
Like, clearly I know I can't stand. No, you don't.
Yeah. It's like some Brazil shit, like the movie Brazil.
Yeah. So Irons returns to LA. We see that Burke is also arriving in the City of Angels.
Iron plane. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Irons likes buses. Burke likes planes.
Yeah, it's a matter of like.
Yeah, exactly. Irons goes back to his old neighborhood while Burke visits Big Willie. My favorite character in this movie.
Yeah, which I have to point out quickly. I'm sure you're getting to it. Yet again, another teen novelty focused front.
Right.
He makes pinball machines and he has an arcade.
Did you catch the name of his company?
Dan-tastic.
Fantastic.
Who is Dan? And why is he so tastic?
It sounds like a janky ass clown that would come to your kid's party.
He's Big Willie Daniels. So he named his company Dan-tastic.
Dan-tastic.
That's Dan-tastic.
Big Willie, the owner of Dan-tastic.
makes old-timey pinball machines.
He totally should be doing local commercials. Hi, I'm Big Willie, the owner of Dan-tastic. Come on down.
Especially if you're a teen boy.
We've got Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Sonic the Hedgehog,
Space Accountant, lawnmower races,
and every third Sunday, miniature golf.
Like the super tiny, super.
All right, so yeah, Big Willie apparently is an old friend of his. He knows Big Willie from way back. Him and Big Willie.
Also, just before this scene, I want to throw it out there that that Irons misses he's consorting with the local youth and he misses the 3-pointer.
Yes,
right. It's an ongoing joke. About how his free throws.
Yeah, it's a running gag.
Every shot he takes, yeah.
He won all of those awards Throw spoke of, but he's also won the awards of like worst free throws in the league.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. You know, Shaq is notorious for not hitting free throws.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's funny that they,
Yeah.
Was he bad at 3-pointers though too? Because he was really far away from the basket.
I mean, he's a big guy. So, I mean, he played center. So, I mean, I imagine he wasn't a great 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and it's relative. Yeah.
All right. So Burke, let's see. So Big Willie is using his business selling arcade games as a front for an illegal weapons business. And he really likes toothpicks. Burke suggests they go into business selling the secret military grade weapons he was working on. He apparently stole a disc with the schematics. Now, I'm very disappointed that this disc was not labeled.
I know.
Yeah. Should have said like top secret.
Yeah. Secret stolen weapons disc.
Love Jam. You should have said Love Jams.
My super awesome mix.
My mixtape's dropping. Oh no, I dropped my mixtape.
So Irons arrives at Grandma Odessa's house with his brother. He collapses her souffle, which is another running gag, and catches up on her cooking.
Her little plan is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, black and blue.
Black and blue.
Yeah, I'd eat there.
Those combining her down-home recipes with French cuisine.
Yeah,
hominy souffle.
Right, and I don't know how many dishes do translate, but it was just cool. That was a cool character.
You know, that is 100% like the kind of restaurant you'd see in like some sort of like a downtown like hipster like food
Austin,
truck,
Texas.
Yeah. So
this was before they started calling it fusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Maybe this started the whole thing. The whole fusion craze.
Foodies were created because of this.
This movie was big with restaurant entrepreneurs.
Like, what inspired you? 1997 Steel, starring Shaquille O'Neal.
I'd be like, really?
That's how I feel.
I feel like Steel.
I think it's for real.
That's the deal. So they.
What's the deal with Jessica Biel?
And birds, they ain't real. So he finds out the local gangs have been messing with his brother, and
Martin.
Then a bunch of weapons manufacturers want to hire him, but he's not interested.
Okay, so all those different, the cutting to the different scenarios, watching this infomercial, like the skinheads, the Mexican cartel on the plane, and the
that later on
funny tactic, that's later on.
That is later on, no, but that's hilarious. But okay, no. So Grandma Odessa goes to like rub his head, but she just grabs it and moves the skin back and forth on his skull. It's so weird. And then he gets a job at what appears to be the neighborhood steel mill.
Downtown LA.
His foremen are two like 19-year-old girls walking around with their hard hats and their clipboards like, ooh, look at that. We are thirsty as fuck.
I mean,
none of that made any sense at all.
This is the steel mill where all the hotties work.
Yeah, because it's in LA. So it's like I'm an actress, but I'm just working my way.
Well, and again, I assume it's like
at the steel mill.
It's the steel mill in the hood, I assume, because he wanted to work locally.
Even more specifically,
Then meanwhile, Burke and Big Willie are developing their weapons despite the dangers they pose to the testers they hired. Big Willie's lawyer, assistant, whatever, doesn't like Burke, so he kills her. Is no one going to investigate this elevator crash?
When did he rig that?
Right?
When did he rig that? He didn't know that they were going to immediately have a falling out in that meeting. Or did he?
Burke has every base covered.
I guess so.
He has all the elevators rigged just in case.
That's what I'm talking about. And he has one of those, what are the car, electronic
the fobs? Yeah.
Fob, yeah. What if he just like pressed against it in his pocket? A random
or
elevator.
if he mixes it up with his keys, he's trying to unlock his car. He's like, oh no, again.
Every time he leaves a hotel. Wait a minute. Right around here is where somebody, a secretary, I believe, says the front desk said there was a little kid you want to hire.
Oh yeah. And he's talking about Martin, brother. But
it's a strange thing to say to your boss, and then so many questions like, "Okay, you want to hire?"
And hire for what?
Should I call someone? Little boy, are you okay?
Tap one foot if you're in danger.
but tap it like a horse. Yeah. So we know you're not just regular tapping.
Tap your back foot if you know how to count to 5.
You'll get a carrot.
Safe word's supposed to be easy.
Safe word. My safe word is the Gettysburg Address.
But backwards while tap dancing. Like you're fucking Ginger Rogers. Sorry.
Irons and Martin are on their way to an anti-gang meeting with a cop that he's apparently nailed at some point.
Right. Yeah. She's abruptly introduced and then
abruptly unintroduced.
Very abruptly.
Never going back.
Yeah, this is weird. They happen to get called to a bunch of Burke's employees robbing a bank with his weapons. So, what's his face? The deep-voiced lawyer guy. Yeah, was he a lawyer? Who was he? He was an executive. Like, he was like, I was an executive, and now I'm robbing a bank 2 days later.
You mean the guy with the white hair? That's
the deep-voiced guy. Singer, yeah.
Singer.
Because
he was in the room back when Burke first walked into Big Willie's office, so he was there. Sort of his right hand man kind of thing. He's in on the arms dealing as well.
Yeah, he highly disapproved of Burke putting his feet on the desk when he arrived in the office.
That's right. So yeah,
that's mahogany.
You're like, bro, you don't just do that to a desk.
No.
So first of all, that's the Federal Reserve.
No, not this is the bank. The Federal Reserve's later.
Okay, then then still at this point, you know you're going in to rob the money that's in the vault. Why do you stop and celebrate and high five?
Right.
They get so excited around. They're like, there is money
in the bank.
Just pack it up and go.
We find out that Singer just hired a bunch of street thugs.
Yeah,
just this one gang.
Yeah,
the purple.
Yeah, the Marks they were called. We found out later.
Yeah, the Marks.
The Marks.
They were run by like Captain Hook.
Named after 1980 Olympic champion Mark Spitz, I assume.
That's them.
So this is their first big heist like this.
It's their first crime.
It's their first bank, and they're super excited about these weapons and whatnot. And yeah, when they get in there, they're just like, high fiving and wooing the whole time. They're just, they're puppies,
right?
And they're just tripping all over themselves.
This is the best night of my life.
But they're an inner city late 90s gang who wear lots of leather and chains. Like they're an early 80s like biker gang or something.
Yeah.
And purple. And the one guy Slats has the purple eye patch.
Yeah. Yeah, and and like the rubber overalls at one point. So all right. So yeah, they get called to break this up, and the cop doesn't stop and let the civilians out of her car. She just goes to the bank robbery with them.
As one does.
Yeah.
Then she gets knocked unconscious through the sonic cannon. And this is the point where Shaquille O'Neal says, "It's on now," and chases the one remaining robber who didn't get the memo. He didn't get the text, "Hey, we're done robbing the bank." He's still in there when they all leave.
Well, okay, here's the point, if you don't mind, that I was making about the stunts and the running. So, first of all, they have a foot race, which we love foot races.
Yes.
Okay, so they go through the train yards. These trains are going, as slow as they can because they're disconnecting and switching and stuff. But they totally chose that as a stunt sort of scene because they knew Shaq could do it. It wouldn't get too injured if he messed up. So it's just like, here's this slowly moving train car. You just grab on. And then you jump off on the other side. Then you run around for a while. It's great.
No,
he did his own stunts, but they were like the most ginger, delicate stunts he could do.
No, yeah, and there were lots of scenes of him looking, and then shot of the train, and then he looks another way, then a shot of a train. Like,
and then he runs over the track, and then goes to like he's playing Frogger, but like they wanted to make sure they were gentle on him. I guess is my point.
Well, absolutely, yeah, because he has to go and play for the Lakers again next season. They don't want him injured at all. Yeah, so and Shaq running, oh my goodness. Shaq is not a man built to run for any sort of distance in any way.
Not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, so all right. So yeah, they do the extended train dodging sequence.
Right. It's like Tom Cruise doing his stunts in Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Where he's on cables attached to a helicopter and stuff. It's like, Shaq, run between two trains.
Like, you think I can handle it?
He has hobo level training.
So he finally catches the guy. And I thought this, and then he gets knocked unconscious by getting shot in the shoulder blade with one of the guns that previously had blown up a tank.
Right.
Yep.
So, then they leave, and I thought there was going to be a thing because he's like looking for this guy that he was chasing. And there's the scene later where the guy like is looking out the window, and I thought it was going to be a thing where Shaq like finally finds him and like breaks open a mystery, but no, that's just all there is. All right, so Shaq, I keep calling him Shaq. Irons calls the general.
No, Shaq is better. Shaq is better.
It's Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq calls the colonel on a payphone, and the colonel doesn't believe that the classified weapons could have ended up in the hands of a street gang. He breaks the phone. Was that were they trying to make it a gag how he breaks stuff all the time? I couldn't really tell if that was supposed to be a thing.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Because there's a couple times where he just breaks stuff. Like,
I mean, he's really clumsy. I think it's part of like Shaq's identity,
Yeah.
So maybe.
Shaq smash.
So he talks to Martin, who tells him that the robbers were from a gang called the Marks. He goes to their hangout to confront them, and their leader, eye patch guy, warns him away. He says, no, we don't play that. Shaq gets angry and leaves. So I noticed during this, like when they all pull the guns on him, there's one guy with a switchblade who's just holding it at the top of his skull. Like, I'm going to stab you in the head. With the
He's new in the gang. He hadn't been issued a gun yet.
Yeah, he didn't get the guidebook.
Yep.
I'm going to make your head look like a penis. Just slice the top of it.
So he's going to circumcise his skull.
It's a murder bris.
So Eye Patch Guy calls Burke, who's unfazed by Shaq's interest. They're getting ready for their big website launch.
The website's almost done. It'll be
like
up
eBay
next week
for guns.
Yeah, like,
exactly.
I'm doing it on Squarespace. They have all these templates, and I can put up a picture of each weapon.
Check out my Etsy page.
Yeah. Handcrafted illegal super weapons. Artisanal.
Yeah. I'm just,
So Irons visits Sparks in her rehab in St. Louis because she hasn't contacted him, and we know, thanks to the previous scene, that he definitely gave her his contact info.
He's like, I wrote it on a Post-it. I'm going to stick it to your lifeless foot.
Oh, shit. You weren't supposed to know that. She's in the depths of depression over being a paraplegic in a wheelchair. Irons wants her to help him figure out where the weapons are coming from, but she's in no emotional state to help. He gets...
Any hospital has the one person in a wheelchair looking through a window.
Mm-hmm.
All by themselves.
That window's not going to stare out itself, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, and this is the point. He smashes the windows. Like, he smashes the glass panes.
Yeah, that was his Oscar moment. Yeah, and everyone rejoiced, and they could hear birds.
No. He commits property damage and kidnaps her against her will from a federal facility while the other patients
the way he
cheer.
carried her out was terrifying.
It's all officer and a gentleman, but she's in this big wheelchair, and that's what he got her. She's like, "Thanks for the wheelchair." It's just a regular wheelchair that's purple.
Yeah, right. No, but no, seriously, she's screaming at him to not take her.
Right.
He just went to a VA hospital and kidnapped a patient against their will. Like, it's not a crime.
Who's going to stop him, though?
Who's going to stop Shaq?
It's Shaq.
So he takes her to meet Uncle Joe, who they introduce like we've seen him before. I'm taking you to old Uncle Joe's, but this is the first time we're meeting him.
Yeah, I was confused. I thought maybe I had missed a scene.
Yeah, and he lives in this maybe 2-acre plot with all kinds of crazy sorts of things, and like a smelting furnace for making what. But it's literally in the middle of downtown LA.
It has a great view.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the skyline. It's like this. It's the bottom of where those skyscrapers are. I mean, it's right downtown. That guy, he doesn't have to be a bum.
No.
Uncle Joe, that's prime real estate.
If he just sold this land, he'd be a millionaire.
Owning a junkyard is his passion.
I guess. He's like, I really wanted an abandoned amusement park, but, when life gives you a limit.
He's waiting for the market to really blow up
so he can build an amusement park and then abandon it.
Abandoned amusement parks are just blowing up right now.
It's a complex goal. Many steps.
Uncle Joe doesn't ask too many questions of people who bring him expensive equipment, and they get
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and they get Sparky on board with what is clearly a regular robbery ring.
Essentially.
And they get to
because he says it fell off the back of a truck. Yeah. And he said you'd be absolutely moon-eyed to know just how many things would fall off the back of a truck.
I suppose.
So in order to stop these crimes, Shaq and Sparky are real fast to start committing a bunch of other crimes.
In order to prevent monkey business, sometimes you must create monkey business.
Fight fire with fire. That's what I always say.
That's what I always say. In my tent because I burned down my house.
Well, in order to stop crimes, we have to commit crimes because we're above the law, but not that guy.
Dude, it's
that's entirely Batman. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I guess there would be no superheroes if it wasn't for that. So anyways, meanwhile, Martin meets Burke, who asks him to call him the man.
The man. Straight up with it.
Like that Taylor Swift song?
Right.
Exactly.
Burke offers him a job. Burke, so he's in an arcade wearing a lab coat for some reason.
I'm into the science of pinball.
So then at the junkyard, Sparks comes to terms with her disability. And
yeah, while they watch her struggle, which I know that's what you have to do, is, she's got to do it on her own, but that was just funny.
The entire, when I was...
Yeah, that was a...
Go ahead.
That was just a strangely blocked scene.
Oh, yeah.
Just with the two of them watching the entire time.
No, and the way Shaq stopped him, he was like, no, it's my fetish.
Yeah. I love this shit, man. I love it.
I
love it when they can't get up. I don't even offer to help.
I didn't even know I was into this.
Now it's all I can get off to.
Till now. Yeah.
Like, I usually pay a lot of money for this, man.
So
yeah, this is just a really weird, because the scene, it's a trope. It's a thing that exists, when people are, handicapped throughout the process of a movie and going through that whole experience of being wheelchair, bound and stuff.
Lieutenant James.
But it's usually done a
falling
little...
out of the chair, yelling at God or humanity or whatever, and then getting up into the chair while somebody is not available to help. But usually they're not available to help.
Right. They're not usually standing watching them. And it's usually done
so
a little
twisted.
A little less ham-fistedly. And honestly, not in 1997. We're talking about 70s and 80s movies. So anyways.
Yeah, Uncle Joe looked real concerned. Roundtree was like, shouldn't we be fucking helping her? What's wrong with you?
Oh, I see. You're a monster. Okay.
It's all Mr. Miyagi style.
Yeah. Pick her up with chopsticks.
You're the bad guy.
Or Kill Bill,
Yeah.
He is big enough. I'm sure he could use giant chopsticks and pick up a human being.
Giant chopsticks? Yeah, what does Shaq use for chopsticks?
Baseball
Drumsticks.
Bats? Yeah.
There you go, drumsticks.
Drumsticks.
Yeah, so, okay. Then Martin shows up, tells them about his new job. Then we get a montage of them building Irons' suit.
Yeah. Just pounding one piece of sheet metal
over and over,
holding it up,
which was not hot. He was he was just banging on a piece of metal. So yeah, they eventually finish up with the big helmet scene. Which so it came out of the kiln or fire or whatever, totally helmet shaped already. That wasn't he didn't take it out and bend it into shape. It came out like that.
Everything else he made looks so shitty except for that. And I mean, that looks shitty too. It was a shitty helmet, but that came out perfect.
Yeah.
It was his souffle.
Yeah.
During the montage, we saw a close up of Shaq's Superman Man of Steel tattoo.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is genuine, right? That's he has that tattoo.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and Shaq apparently wanted to be a part of this because he is actually a big fan of Superman.
Yes.
Sure.
And this was the closest he knew he was ever going to get to playing Superman.
I've seen Cribs.
We get the Shaft reference here.
Yeah.
Which is Jude. Okay, so Jude was unaware of Shaft, the series.
Uh-huh.
And so when this happened, he was like, what?
Yeah.
Because he thought he was just making a penis joke. Like, he was like, is Uncle Joe gay? I was like, well, I don't know, but there's a thing called
he's
Joe.
the private dick who's the hit with all the chicks.
Yeah.
He's not gay. Shut up.
So, yeah.
Where should we hide? Shaft.
Where are you going, Uncle Joe? I'm going to get laid. Where are you going?
That night, a featured extra earns a SAG card by robbing a couple in evening wear with a switchblade.
In Crime Alley.
Yeah. He runs into an alley to count his loot. That was the most, like, they were in evening wear. And he had a switchblade. Like,
did you guys notice who that punk was?
No, I didn't notice.
No.
He's an actor named John Hawkes. He won an Academy Award not that long ago. He was on Eastbound and Down as Elliot McBride's brother. Let's see. Well, look him up. Yeah, he won an Oscar. He's an actor now.
What did he win an Oscar for?
I can't remember the name, but I feel like it was a dude in a wheelchair.
Oh, he played Sparks in the remake of Steel.
They gave him the Oscar. No, I think it's something similar. Carry on. I'll look it up.
All right. So Irons shows up in his steel suit and scares him straight, then gives back the couple's valuables before making a dramatic escalator exit. That escalator to the sky was beautiful.
It was great. The way he stepped backwards onto the escalator and it just carried him up for a little ways.
I know. Before he turned,
I thought it was really smooth.
It was, but it was like, where does that escalator go? They're just out on the street, and then also like, he was like, "This is gonna be badass. I'm gonna step backwards on an escalator without even looking."
It goes up. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, so he gets to the top and then he just has to come down the other side. It's like, my car's over there. So listening in on radio and camera, Uncle Joe and Sparks hear about a gang fight on the police scanner.
This was where we first saw that Steele's outfit, apart from having the exposed face, also had the exposed palms.
Yeah.
With the chainmail.
That was weird.
Which looked really weird. It was like a Howard the Duck flashback kind of thing.
Totally.
Yeah, like you can see his Shaq hands.
It's all steel, but for his fleshy palms.
His fleshy Shaq palms.
In case he needs to, rub one out real quick. So pardon me, that dude, John Hawkes, he won the Oscar for Winter's Bayonne.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Interesting. All right, so Shaq takes out the gang members. They run away, but the police arrive, and so okay, wait. So when he turns on the magnet and all the weapons, it was like it was like a Naked Gun sketch or something, because there were so many more weapons that like flew onto him than the gang members actually were holding.
And then the trash can lid.
Yeah.
Very gaggy moment.
Yeah.
Right, but only that lid. There weren't other metallic things laying around.
Like
garbage.
The actual trash can.
Or like a box spring. Never mind, go ahead.
All right. So the police arrive and Irons has to escape by grappling hook up a building, and then he has to so when he's going to try to jump across from building to building, she on her screen, it comes up with a big no symbol. like the Ghostbuster symbol. If you watch later on, that's still on the screen when he gets back. But that was transmitting live. Like what? And she was only looking at one screen. That was on her main screen. I don't know. And she kept seeing behind him. But again, we only ever got the one camera screen. Like,
yeah. From his POV, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so he escapes, then he goes down the building, then on a motorcycle. She hacks in and the traffic light system, and
so is that a motorcycle they had stashed previously? Or did he get lucky to find one covered in trash?
No, it looked like it was tricked out just for him.
Yeah. Yeah. It
but real quick, before we got too far away from it, the device that warned her to warn him not to jump was called the range finder.
Gotcha.
It was a specific thing she built just in case he had to jump from building to building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It won't find your way, but it'll find your range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it knows. It's like she did test and like put in how far he can jump.
Yeah, with his weight. And,
yeah.
And then she programmed the computer to measure the distance.
Right. Yeah.
And display the distance on the screen with a big circle cross out symbol in case it's
like
farther
Jarvis.
All right. So, yeah, she's apparently hacked into the traffic light system and has some sort of GPS, which can see where all the cop cars are.
That's weird.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, they're committing a lot of crimes here. I just like to point out, like, a lot of crimes.
Yeah.
He escapes from the cops into the junk cave.
Right. That the cops don't know about.
Right. But, like, they lead the cops and the helicopter there. So you'd think, like, oh, he disappeared here. What if we kept looking around this area?
Looking around.
So the next day, Burke questions Martin at work about seeing Steele the night before, and Grandma Odetta gets suspicious when the couple that Steele saved the night before describe him on the news.
And the description was just based on his height and how polite he was.
I was just going to say, yeah. He is known to be a good boy.
Tall.
If you know anyone like this.
Well, okay, tall and polite. Like, if anyone's described as that, the first person I'm looking at is Shaq.
I was going to say, are you Shaquille O'Neal?
So, Burke meets Slats and asks him about Steele and warns him against flashing his money around. And there's the hot dog thing.
Yeah.
Wait, he's like, is there pork in this hot dog? No. All right. It's like so petty of him.
Yeah. He's like, is this pork mess? No, it's turkey mess. Word.
It's like, yeah. It's like, I live just to be bad.
You can trust the man.
Call me that, will you please?
And trust me.
A few nights later, Steele's patrolling when Burke's men blow out the power in the neighborhood and break into the Federal Reserve as a demonstration of their weapons.
Yep.
Sparky picks up
a poorly constructed vault in a inadequately security.
Right. Yeah. Was
the
there
Federal Reserve? It's just kept on shelves in there.
Right. And were there no like security guards at the Federal Reserve of any sort?
Not even reinforced buildings. It's just concrete.
So Sparky picks up the incident because she apparently also has access to some sort of satellite infrared vision. And Steele arrives. There's a shootout. Steele's outgunned. The cops arrive and Burke takes out a police helicopter. Steele saves the cops on the ground. He flees from the cops on his motorcycle again, committing some massive property damage and putting some construction workers in some serious harm's way.
Yeah.
And then escapes into the back of Uncle Joe's truck, Knight Rider style.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was all right. Um,
I've seen better cars driving into another car. So have I. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually true.
Yeah.
Burke has been trying to find Steele's base through his transmissions with Sparks, and he publicizes his break-in of the Federal Reserve, which catches the attention of the world's various bad guys. We got neo-Nazis, South American drug dealers, African revolutionaries.
Jesus, all watching the same infomercial.
Right. A veritable who's who of
guys you wouldn't want to give weapons to.
Yeah. Then back at the Steel Cave, Sparks is worried about his chin wound. She's just taping. She puts 2 little strips of tape on it. Like, that's not how you suture a wound, Sparks.
Yeah. It's just like, the chin.
Yeah. Uncle Joe, for some reason, suddenly wants to push him harder. And Steele realizes Burke is involved. Like, so there was just stuff like out of nowhere. Like Uncle Joe's introduction. Uncle Joe suddenly is like, you got to go harder, Steele. Like,
right.
A lot of stuff just out of nowhere.
The lady cop that he was friends with.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff
introduced, dies, nothing
else. She didn't die.
Yeah, she did.
No,
she did.
No. He says when he goes to kidnap Sparky from the federal facility in which she is a patient.
Yes.
He says she got hurt real bad. She's in the hospital.
Okay. Well, anyways, we never see her again or hear anything about it.
No.
Yeah.
No. And he apparently had sex with her at some point when they were younger. They made a point of letting us know that.
Terrifying.
Yeah. So Burke frames Steele with the cops as the guy that shot down the helicopter, which really seems unnecessary as he's actually guilty of a ton of actual crimes.
Yeah.
For real.
The helicopter explosion thing was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was effectsy or not, but yeah, it looked real.
Yeah. I mean, the effects in this movie were fine. For the most part, they were fine. So Steele goes home. Grandma knows who he is, but before he's forced to admit it, he's arrested. Luckily, they never look in his mouth or ask him to speak because that's where he hides the transponder that allows him to talk to Sparks.
Clever girl.
At the jail, the couple he saved and the cop he saved refused to ID him, and Sparks and Uncle Joe used their technical know-how to forge a release order. So they get the guy to sign a UPS thing, and they record his voice, and they have the voice changer.
They're it's a pretty good plan.
They're like, could you say the following for us? The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Like on 30 Rock, where Jack had been paid to read the entire dictionary out loud.
Yeah.
But then they started putting together, phone calls with fake Jack voice.
Yeah. So they learn that Burke is selling his weapons on that newfangled internet thing that everybody's talking about. And he also apparently has a public website that he registered with GoDaddy.
Yeah.
He just has a website. It's not. You don't need some sort of secret key to unlock the dark web. No, he just has a website.
It's just on a website. Exactly.
Sparks contacts the army, who's waiting to hear about the location because they don't have the internet yet, and finds. And then she finds the location on the website, but she tells Steele, but before she can tell the army, she gets captured by one of Burke's men. Steele and Uncle Joe go to the meeting where Burke is meeting with a bunch of potential buyers. Steele sneaks in while Joe goes to call the colonel.
Get me all the leaders of the world.
Get me all of the evil leaders.
Right. And it's happened in The Godfather, Batman, they just love to all get together for meetings.
Well, yeah.
In person.
Really...
Oh my gosh. What about a mafia Zoom meeting?
That would be hilarious.
I've called all you gentlemen together. But no.
So
no
in 1997, they just had the internet. They didn't yet have online auctions, unfortunately. Otherwise, so if you wanted to go to an auction, you had to go there in person.
Yeah, you're right. Wanted to try. Yeah.
Evildoers also like to just hang around and like show off how evil they are to each other.
Actually, Al, eBay was founded in 1995.
Oh, dang.
So they actually could have eBayed it.
So they could have put all these weapons on eBay.
They could have, yeah.
Yep.
In the beginning, it was just like notes to your geometry exam. Starting bid $20.
Burke's in the middle of his sales pitch when Steele gets captured and ends up on stage with him. Burke tells them all that he's not interested in money, but power. He kills Big Willie.
Right on, yeah.
And turns on Slats, shooting him. So his plan is to rent the weapons to them. He's creating a rent to own industry. Like it's a lease.
iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the iPhone.
He truly is evil. I wonder what sort of interest is involved in this. Wait a minute. Variable APR? You evil dick.
Evil.
So outside, Uncle Joe and the dog take out a bad guy. Inside,
Uncle Joe and the dog.
Uncle Joe and the TJ and the bear. Inside, Steele talks some smack to Burke, and then Uncle Joe finally gets a hold of the colonel.
Smack to Burke. Sounds like a German announcing name.
Smack to Burke. Steele tricks Burke into activating the magnet and gets his hammer back. It's like, don't you touch this pie.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Like he's Brer Rabbit.
Yeah. Yeah. Inside. So then Sparks shows off her brand new laser chair, setting the building on fire. And then
anything you can do, I can do better.
And then the buyers flee as a firefight breaks out. Sparks escapes the building on her jet chair. So
she had a turbo boost.
The way it goes off, it's like I'm pretty sure they speeded up the frame rate because it looked really, really bad.
So what's our intensity rate? Maximum.
Good. Steele blows open a wall so the gang members can escape.
He's all, hey. He's all Kool-Aid Man.
Burke holds Martin hostage and taunts Steele, but Uncle Joe distracts him, and Martin escapes Burke's grasp. Okay, Martin and Steele run into the room, and then we get the grenade sequence. Oh my God.
Again, his free throw.
Yeah, but
I can't do it.
Did anyone time how long it takes this grenade to explode?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Half a minute.
It was the world's...
We only have 40 minutes to get out of the
way. So it was enough time. He throws it in, closes the wooden door, which, by the way, the grenade would blow through that wooden door and kill him anyways. The kid picks it up, Shaq gets it from the kid. He has time to aim, throw it up. It bobbles around, falls down outside right at the door. The dude 5 minutes later is still sitting on the floor outside of the wooden door.
Yeah.
And then it blows up finally.
No.
Yeah. Oh, and this is Steel finally hits the free throw.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love the way when it exploded at Singer's feet, because he's had that the deep voice throughout. The no that he emits was so high pitched.
No, his true self.
So then Burke kills himself with his irony hubris gun. And
this was another. There were like a bunch of no's and no-nos, like right in succession. When Burke shoots at him, Martin shouts out, "Oh no!" And then it bounces off Steele's back and hits Burke, throws him back to the crates, and then as he's being crushed by a bunch of flaming crates, we hear Burke very clearly, "Oh no! Oh no! I'm being crushed by flaming crates." No.
Oh, Shazbot. So, Sparks, we see, just barely got out of the building at this point, presumably because it's not handicap accessible. And she like grabs Uncle Joe and is like going along, making him run next to her as she holds onto him on her jet propulsed wheelchair.
It's like when you're a dick and you're riding your bike and walking your dog at the same time.
Right. So the good guys escape the burning warehouse. The fleeing bad guys are caught by the army.
Steele nearly crushes Joe and Sparks with the Humvee, the armored car, as they come through the wall.
Oh yeah.
Like he very nearly runs over his friends.
Yeah.
Can't make an omelet.
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah, exactly.
So then Irons calls the Colonel, disguises his voice as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Which, that's just like the best impression he could do, and I bet he does it all the time in his real life.
The Arnold, oh God.
Do you think that's Shaq doing the Arnold voice?
Yes, because he slips in and out of it. Yeah, yes.
Well, no. Every time it went to him in person, he wasn't doing it. So it was like the voice changer.
Yeah, the voice translator was doing it.
Yeah. So
no, I don't think so.
The Colonel heard Arnold, but Sparks, who was sitting next to him, just heard Irons' voice because it was going through the voice translator in the computer.
Mm.
Josh judges that unconvinced.
How many? It gets one grunt out of how many possible grunts?
Well, pretty sure I heard him talking when. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Either way, Irons tells the Colonel that he ain't gonna be no war guy. Then they all go to the restaurant that Grandma Odessa opened up on the sidewalk in front of her house.
It's a pop-up.
Yeah.
Also, the general straight up asks him, "Are you Irons? Are you?" It's like,
yeah.
Just sorry, gotta go.
Yeah, he's like, no pussyfooting around this. It's you, right? So they all eat souffle, and then everyone gets wide-eyed as Irons and Sparks sexily hug.
They're all excited because they finally hug instead of just finger banging.
Finger banging.
that what they're calling it now?
No.
Yeah, so this was the point. Like clearly there was supposed to be a romantic thing between them, or maybe not clearly. Was this romantic?
No, I think friendship, partner, like I think all those levels of love, but I don't think
but
sexual.
But when they
romantic.
I don't know. There was a few moments where it seemed like they were trying to make it romantic, just off and on here and there. And
yeah, it was like a Power Rangers movie level of romance.
Yeah, totally. And like when they hugged, it had reaction shots from everybody, and like they were all like, "Woo,
ooh, yes." It was weird. The dynamic between them and Uncle Joe earlier in the film was also like hinting at like she's not alone, she's got you kind of thing. Just like
right.
Yeah.
I don't think she agreed.
Yeah.
I think she saw herself as his partner, or
So
anyway,
yeah, maybe Shaq was into it, but she wasn't. She was like, "This guy is way too large for me."
She showed off her new wheelchair modification.
Yeah, that lets her stand.
Yeah,
that's nice.
So
that
she's
was dark.
Hannibal Lecter style.
So she's only half of Shaq's height instead of being like a quarter of his height.
Of being at his ankles.
Yeah, she should have had that thing. I thought that she was going to remain seated and just like get lifted on the way.
He puts her on his shoulder. Up to his knees. It's like, oh my God, did he beat you? No, his knee just got me in the face when we were talking.
He just can't see that low.
He keeps tripping over her chair.
Was there a moment where was there like a weird thing between Uncle Joe and Grandma Odessa?
No, but there should have been.
Like no, just in the last scene, I thought there was like a weird thing between them for like just one line.
I mean, I could see that. Or are they related? I know his nickname is Uncle Joe. Everybody calls me Uncle Joe, but was he John's Uncle Joe?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, so that would make him Odessa's son?
If it was, yeah.
Grandma Odessa.
Yeah, so Odessa's son, yeah. That's a grandma, yeah.
It would, but I mean, there's just so much left so unclear about like the relationships and everything in this movie. The one thing that we are absolutely certain of is that Irons gave Sparks his contact info before he left back to LA.
At least we know that.
At least.
This movie needs a remake.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well. I mean, it would actually.
It could probably look really cool these days.
This could be a great movie. This could be a fantastic story, but not with Shaq in it.
Well,
maybe Shaq could play Uncle Joe.
Yeah, I was going to say Shaq as Uncle Joe would be pretty hilarious.
It's like, wow, Uncle Joe, you've grown so much. Oh, it's not a sequel, it's a remake.
So,
Uncle Joe, Jesus.
In the comics, John Henry Irons, his namesake being John Henry, he was always drawn as resembling what we would imagine John Henry to look like as a railroad worker.
Yeah.
Just like super muscular, big shoulders, like just powerful brute of a man.
Yeah.
Overalls with one, clasp.
Okay. But
that's literally
that's literally John Henry. But I'm just more talking about his physique, because at any rate, just Shaq's physique does not resemble a railroad worker or a steel worker kind of guy. He's
what does he look like then? What do you mean?
Shaq? What does Shaq look like? I mean,
he doesn't look like he doesn't look like his namesake. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm saying I wouldn't picture him as a railroad worker necessarily.
Shaq's
he doesn't
a little soft.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't look like what I would imagine John Henry to look like.
No. I mean, Shaq.
He doesn't really have the powerful, defined arms that you get from actually swinging a sledgehammer around, kind of thing.
And I mean, Shaq was.
Well, he's not supposed to be the John Henry.
No, I understand, but I'm saying in the comics he was always drawn that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you were to do a remake, you could find someone who looks a bit more like that, to make it a little more realistic.
Kind of more of a buff, modern Marvel-looking superhero guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Shaq was notoriously kind of like a soft, I remember in the 90s, it was, the talk in the sports world that, Shaq's kind of lazy. He kind of doesn't work out a lot. He's not, he was kind of a bigger guy all around, not just in height.
Mm-hmm. Him and Charles Barkley both got a lot of heat for their weight.
Yeah.
Well, in the 1974 Disney version, which is one of the most popular images of him.
Yeah, I see that. That does not look like Shaq.
Oh, okay. I don't think he's trying to. All right, so you don't. Okay, I see. Yep. Go ahead.
So I think the point is that this movie was bad.
No, that's not what was being argued just now.
I don't think you know what was being argued. Anyway, the hammer.
You don't think what? You don't think I know what was being argued?
I don't think any of us know what was being argued. So let's move on.
Please.
Woo. Okay, boys.
To the hammer. I have my complete list of its abilities.
Oh, yes.
It has a sonic gun, an electromagnet, tear gas, a laser pulse, laser beam, night vision telescope, a dog whistle. And not once was it ever used as a hammer.
Okay, that's wow.
Not once in this movie was it ever used as a hammer. There was the one time when the guys were sneaking up behind him and they had a board and he turned around and he kind of held it up, but he was holding it with the handle pointed out still. So he was holding it by the hammer end and he just kind of deflected the blow of the board. So that was the one time it was used not as a gun or other super weapon, but not once was it ever used as a hammer.
Weird.
Oh.
He never hammered anything.
But he did in fact say it's hammer time, which is so very timely for 1997. All right. Do we have any last thoughts about this, our one and only visit to Shaqland?
No, I don't think so. Personally.
Yeah. I think then it might be time for us to put this on the big board. Let's rank this sucker. So,
yeah.
Well, it's number one in our tallest superhero category.
Yes, it is. So this one is probably the best 1997 one we've watched so far. The previous 1997s being Batman and Robin and Spawn, which rank 34 and 35 respectively on our list of 36.
Yeah.
So I guess I would say I would kind of start this thing personally. I don't know what we all think, around the range of what? Okay, so we have Turtles 3 at number 20.
That's too high.
That's too high for this. We've got, let's see, we've got Crow City of Angels at 25.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Do we somewhere in this neighborhood sound like we might be able to negotiate something?
Because just below that is the Punisher, and it gives me a very Punisher kind of feel.
Yeah.
Watching the whole thing, it was similar. Not really in tone, but just in quality, I suppose.
General plot confusion.
Yeah, like as far as like craftsmanship, it's probably about on that level, I'd say.
And just below that is Batman Forever. So, is it better than Batman Forever?
I don't think it's better than Batman Forever.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I just don't. Batman Forever.
Just keep going down the list. How about Sergeant Kabuki Man?
I mean, Kabuki Man was more fun. It's hard to say if anything's better or worse than any Troma film.
Right.
I think I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Kabuki Man. As bad as this was, there were some cute moments.
Yeah, yeah. You know, this was all around, just kind of a fine. It was just fine.
Yeah, Shaft in it.
Yeah, it definitely was just fine.
Was it better than the Phantom?
I think so.
Okay, so we got a general area.
Do people agree with me that Batman Forever is better than this, or is that a point of contention?
No, I agree.
Same,
I can.
Do we want to stick it at 28 between Batman Forever and Sergeant Kabuki Man?
Good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'm happy with that.
All right. There we go. Put it up on the list. Steel coming in at number 28 out of 37. And that closes the book on our Shaq attack. Which means that next week we will be discussing another 1997 movie, Orgasmo.
Oh, yay. I like that one.
Yeah, finally. We're kind of getting to some more interesting films now. We had a lot of mid-90s kind of going on, but we're coming up on some interesting ones here. Orgasmo will be next week. Our God, is that our first straight comedy?
Maybe.
Well,
Blank Man was
Blank Man, yeah.
Blank Man. Blank Man, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, starring the South Park boys next week, Orgasmo. So I think that about covers it for us all. I would like to say thank you, everybody, for listening. If you would like to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/Harmless Entertainment. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, guys, for this has been Thoreau Smiley, and I'm just fronting in front of my homeboys.
Hey there, I'm Josh CC, and I got all kind of crazy honeys sweating me.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I boogie around danger like a Soul Train dancer.
I'll be dipped in shit and rolled in breadcrumbs. I'm Alaric Weber.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producers Atticus Burkett and Michael Beckwith, and producers Alyssa Dent, Hedda Paulson, and Jojo Birchtree. Harmless Phosphorescence is a production of the Harmless Entertainment Network.